In this short video I want to share with you 5 cool sound design tips for the Nord Drum 3P that I really enjoy using, and they are not overly complicated. At the same time you can apply them to all sorts of different sounds, and I think they are really fun to explore. First thing is about Monog Groups, and maybe you know Monog Groups already. If not, it basically means that you select certain pads, so you can for example make pad 1, 2, 3 a mono group, and every time you hit a pad of the mono group it will cut off the sound of the other one. And there's a super cool trick that is super inspiring to play, at least for me. It works in a way that you select one pad that you mute, so the channel level you have to set to 0, so there's no sound, but it's still inside the mono group. And it means that just with one pad you can basically chop off the sound whenever you want. I find this super fun. Next I want to show you some cool delay technique that basically gives you some additional modulation effect, because if you use the delay in the way that the delay time is really short, which means higher values, so 97 is a really short delay time, and some feedback and send some sound into it. So here I have some drum kit, and let's actually send the snare into the delay. You get those nice robotic type sounds. And depending on what sound you have on the pad, you get different results, so there's lots of stuff to explore. And also you can then change the delay time and see how it affects the sound. Play with the feedback as well. And here you can almost start playing melodies without actually playing different pads, because the modulation time is so fast that you start hearing the sound as some individual pitches. Next is some cool technique for creating experimental voice type sounds, and here you need the sample reduction that you find under the distortion menu, and also noise. So you see the noise value is at 50, the tone at 0, because we don't need any tone for now. And just by increasing the value for the sample reduction, at some point you see how the noise gets this kind of voice type character. But you can refine it way more by playing with the filter. So if you add some resonance, here it almost gets a little bit wobbly, but so you can play with the decay. And also see what the envelope does. And it's also really fun to just keep modulating the parameter while you play with the other hand. And speaking about one hand modulating the sound while the other one keeps drumming, there's also cool stuff you can do with the ring modulator. So here I have my cymbal sound again, and I'm going to select all channels and change the setting for the distortion to ring modulation. And first of all, if you just switch this to 1, you have some super cool tremolo that gives you lots of possibilities for creating interesting ambient textures that feel really moving, and it almost feels like you added some LFO to your patch. I really like it, and then you can just make it faster. If you keep modulating the parameter for the ring modulation while you play, you get also some kind of cool effect, especially with cymbal sounds. I feel like this is super cool whenever you want to add some additional layer of energy that also keeps modulating and doesn't sound too static. And there's one more thing I want to share with you, which is about creating beautiful ambient textures and pad sounds, because with a percussion synthesizer, especially with drum pads, you don't necessarily expect to play pad sounds or long ambient textures, but this is actually super fun with the Nord Drum, because it gives you a few cool parameters for that. I like to just use some square waves, for example. Could also be a sawtooth wave. Here you can see the filter. And then the decay has different modes, and I like to use the L mode for those things, because then one note keeps playing for a very long time. And those long notes resonate really, really well with some reverb. So let's actually go to the reverb setting and pick some large reverb, like the hall setting, maybe at -4, and just add some of it. And maybe it sounds cool to add this ring modulation trick again. So right now it has a little bit of drive, but we can actually use something else. So we go to the ring modulation and add this little tremolo. It's kind of cool. And these are my 5 sound design tips for today. Of course, you can do so much more. And if you have some specific ones you'd like to share, be warmly invited to do so in the comments. Also leave a like in case you enjoyed this video. Here are some more Nordrum 3P videos in case you're interested. And otherwise, I wish you lots of inspiration with whatever it is that you create, and hope to see you soon again at this channel. Bye.